potential #1 contender, Islam Makhachev. That is the fight that needs to happen.
¿Cuál crees que te acercaría más al #1 libra por libra del mundo?
No tengo ni idea, la verdad. Que el #1 llegará en los libra por libra, ¿sabes? ¿Cuál de ellos me acercaría más? La pelea que más sería con Makhachev.
I mean, he's had one of the quickest rides, the absolute quickest two titles.
I've never seen anything like that.
Nothing ever.
Así que
no,
el objetivo
never in my
final
life.
The thing is, man,
sigue siendo
the
él.
dude really can just survive under everybody if he gets
está en
taken down
problemas.
and then just beats your
He
legs
had
out.
surgery after his last fight. Just how compromised going to be, either from injury.
He's scary. What he did to Josh Emmett, I was like,
Nasty.
oh, man.
He's nasty.
What he did to Bryce,
Beats your lip, and then he forces you to make a mistake, and he takes advantage every single time.
Are you ready for anyone?
This guy's got it. He's got it, dude.
Daniel Cormier labeled you as the lightweight that no one wants to fight.
I have 10 fight win streak, 11 months. I finished 4 guys.
The fact that you're now finishing guys, right?
I implore you, the audience, to understand. Whenever there's a fight, both guys in the fight know who's going to win. Now, that is a very broad stroke statement, to the point that it's a little bit irresponsible. However, if you go and talk to a group of fighters, they'll tell you that I'm basically right. Like, two guys are going to try, and they're trying to get confidence, and they're going to work really hard, and it's not a matter of I'm throwing it, or I'm going to give it to you, or I'm going to let this go easy. But they both have a very good idea who's stronger than who's better than who, and who's going to get over on the other. So now, if you're betting on these fights, or you're giving an analysis, or you've been handicapping them, you're watching the interviews, and you're trying to figure out who is being sincere versus who is trying to convince themselves. And you'll always hear when a fighter's talking trash, maybe something like that. He's trying to get into his opponent's head. And there's not a truth to it. Nobody's trying to get into their opponent's head. There's not a strategy to do that. They're trying to convince themselves. That's all they're doing. The only head and the only mind that the guy talking the trash or talking big and brash, it's himself. So when we had the build-up into Volkanovski and Topuria started to break loose a little bit, he started to come out of his shell. He started to talk about, you're an old guy. And he coupled them all in there, Ortega and Rodriguez and Holloway, all of you can pack your bags and get out of here, right? When he's doing that, I'm watching that and I'm trying to assess, does he mean it? Is he there yet? Because I can tell you when he started, the answer was no. Not only did he not believe he was the best, he didn't believe he was going to beat Volkanovski. He didn't believe he was going to stay undefeated. He didn't believe that he was in front of all those great names I just threw out there. But you get about partway through and all of a sudden I'm watching his interviews and I'm seeing it coming. I'm going, okay, he's starting to convince himself. He's getting closer. And by the time this press tour was done, I knew that Topuria had 95% convinced himself. He had succeeded at what he set out to do. He didn't convince Volk. He didn't get in Volk's head, but that's not a real thing anyway. That's a misinterpretation. He got in his own head and he was starting to convince himself. The question now comes, can he do it? Can he do what he's now talked himself into doing? And if he can, if he's going to beat Volkanovski, how is he going to do it? I think that Topuria's greatest weapon is his hands. And I know his background, or at least if you wanted to start, what did he first get into combat with? It was wrestling, specifically Greco-Roman wrestling. So now you're talking about a lot of clinch work, right? Greco-Roman wrestling, to put in perspective for you, is what Randy Couture did so well. So when Randy Couture would do clinch work, when you saw that, when you saw dirty boxing, that term even being coined came from Randy Couture doing in MMA what he did in wrestling, which is clinch, but then adding strikes, okay? It's as simple as that. But I don't want to tell you that that's what Topuria does best. I really think it's his hands. I think it's his speed. I think his defense. I think it's his motion. I think it's his footwork. I mean, I think that he's really a beautiful talent to watch, straight up pugilistically. So, can he do that with Volk? Nobody's ever outstruck Volk. And there's really not anybody that's even come close. And before you correct me and tell me that Islam knocked him out on his feet, I understand that he threw a head kick that caught him and knocked him out. I won't concede to you that there was a massive striking battle and that Islam had shown a superiority in the understanding of strikes to Volk. That's not what I saw. So, when this fight gets started, I thought Volk. I would be very curious.
Fight fans, welcome back to Luxurytainment. Today, we have an electrifying video for you as we delve into the potential matchup between Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev that has the combat sports world buzzing. Now let's start by exploring the rise of Ilia Topuria, the Georgian sensation who has set the stage on fire with his recent victory over Alexander Volkanovski. In a recent interview with Luxurytainment, Topuria expressed his ambitions to join the ranks of legends like John Jones, GSP, Khabib and Conor McGregor. Ilia Topuria has his eyes set on the pound-for-pound rankings, and to achieve that, he's eyeing a potential matchup against none other than the formidable Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev, who holds an impressive record of 25 wins, 1 loss, and Topuria believes that a victory over Makhachev would catapult him closer to the #1 pound-for-pound ranking. Makhachev, in response, didn't mince his words, dismissing Topuria's challenge as just another short guy looking to be smashed. The pound-for-pound rankings have been updated. Topuria entered the lists with momentum, ranking at number 5. At the top, #1 is Islam Makhachev, and champion at lightweight, UFC's most complex weight division. Ilia Topuria told Luxurytainment, "It would be the fight that would get me closest to the #1 pound-for-pound ranking. I see myself as a double champion. It would be a move up to 155 pounds and be able to fight champion against champion for the Dagestani's belt." He showed some concern by saying Islam Makhachev is a big fighter to take down. Islam Makhachev defended the belt twice against Alexander Volkanovski, who tried the same thing Topuria is trying to do. However, Makhachev went through a different situation. After stealing the belt from Charles Oliveira, he challenged Volkanovski, who at that time was the best in the world. He went to Australia and won by decision. They fought again in Abu Dhabi, an expected rematch in which Volk came on short notice, but Makhachev concluded the battle in the first round after a kick to the head. the story posted on Instagram, Topuria reminds Makhachev of his only defeat. It was at UFC 192 against Adriano Martins by knockout in the first round. I learned a lot from that defeat, the Dagestani commented years later. It was in October 2015 and in his second fight in UFC. After that, all victories. But what led Topuria to call out Makhachev, and how did the champion respond? To understand the context, we need to rewind to Makhachev's journey. After claiming the lightweight belt from Charles Oliveira, Makhachev defended it twice against Alexander Volkanovski. Makhachev's victory was decisive, including a memorable showdown in Abu Dhabi. The challenge was accepted, but not without a cryptic exchange on social media. Topuria, responding in Georgian, reminded Makhachev of his only defeat at UFC 192 against Adriano Martins. However, every fighter has strengths and weaknesses. Let's take a closer look at what makes Topuria stand out and where he might face challenges. We will now go through the advantages of Topuria. Explosive striking. Topuria showcased his striking skills with a knockout victory over Volkanovski. He has an ambitious mindset. Topuria's ambition to climb the pound-for-pound rankings drives him to take on challenges. Now let's look at the disadvantage of Topuria. He has limited experience in the lightweight division. Now moving up to face Makhachev presents a challenge in adjusting to a new weight class. Topuria is relatively untested against elite opponents. Topuria's recent success might not fully prepare him for the seasoned champion. Now let's dissect the advantages and disadvantages of the reigning champion, Islam Makhachev. The advantages Makhachev has. His dominant grappling. Makhachev's wrestling skills have proven to be a challenge for many opponents. Championship experience. Having defended the lightweight belt, Makhachev knows the pressure that comes with being a champion. Now let's look at the disadvantages of Makhachev. Overconfidence. Makhachev's dismissive attitude towards Topuria could potentially lead to underestimating his opponent. Vulnerability in striking exchanges. While known for his grappling, Makhachev might face challenges if the fight transitions to striking. Ilia Topuria, through a Georgian journalist and translator, explained the hidden meaning behind his words. The exchange revealed a deep-seated rivalry and a desire to prove who's superior and on top. As the tension escalates, it's evident that both fighters are not just looking for a win, but also aiming to settle a score. In the world of MMA, where stakes are high and drama is aplenty, the potential matchup between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev promises an adrenaline-pumping spectacle. Will Topuria achieve his dream of a double championship? Will Makhachev maintain his dominance? Our very own Mystic Zach from Luxurtainment predicts Ilia Makhachev wins this fight. Thank you for joining us on Luxurtainment today. Stay tuned for more updates on the Clash of Titans and other exciting stories that define the intersection of luxury and entertainment in the fighting world. Until next time. Signing off.
Like to see next when you step into the office? Everybody, I come in for everybody, kill everybody!
This guy really tough. If you want to stop him, you have to choke him or knock him out. This guy gonna fight 5 rounds.